Music has been for me a great way to express myself, my thoughts, and in that way, I guess it's kind of been a therapy of sorts for me. And people that listen to it get a similar sort of catharsis sometimes. So I don't really speak it necessarily directly about mental health, but I think just having music in your life, whether you're creating it or whether you just enjoy listening to it, I think that's a really important thing for just general well-being. So yeah.
If you appreciate music or you appreciate art, for me it's been the one constant in my life. Like, you can get up, you can do a shit job at work, sorry, swearing, or you can like have a bad day, but that incremental getting better at something and knowing that you have that and it's just yours is a powerful thing, and it's almost like an anchor. So yeah, so like that's how it motivates me every day, just to be better at that, and I don't compare it to anything else in the world. It's mine.
I think music motivates me because it lets me communicate with other people in a way that I understand a bit better. So when you're playing music with people, it's it doesn't really matter what you're talking about underneath the surface, but you can converse with them in that sense through music. Yeah.
There are some things you can't say to people because, again, you feel insecure. But with music, it's like an escape. So that motivation there is keeping me sane. That's a key motivation.
For people that are listening to music, it can be kind of reassuring when you're listening to a band, and say if you're feeling like pretty sad or something like that, and you'll be listening to some sad music and you'll be able to relate. You'll be like, I may not know this person, but they're obviously going through something similar to what I'm going through, and I can relate to that and form a bond there.
Like, just don't be afraid to be the person to take the first step, because it's quite often the first domino that falls that triggers a resonance in other people, and that dialogue exists. It's just most people are scared to even broach the topic, but don't be afraid, because it will, like Craig was saying, it will resonate, and you'll find that you aren't the only one.
Any time in my life where I've had something and bottled it up, it's always eventually been better when I just opened up to someone who I trust about it. Inevitably, it is better. So I think young people should be encouraged to speak to someone that they trust, whether it's a family member or like a counselor or whoever, someone, even just a friend. No one should be going through some hard times completely by themselves and feel like they can't be able to speak about it. So yeah, it should be totally encouraged, and it's totally okay to be bummed out and be down on yourself. But as long as you're able to recognize that and then speak about it and move beyond, it's normal, it's natural, yeah.
Everybody has stress, everybody has problems they're going through, it's not just you. So don't think you're weird. You can talk to your friends about the problems you're having. And don't think that you're strange because of what's going on in your head. Talk to someone and I'm sure you'll feel better soon.
With it, yeah. My family is my number one go-to. If I ever have an issue, I am 100% comfortable speaking to my parents, and I think that's something really important, to be able to confide in other people and just let them know what you're going through. I just find that if I ever have any issues, something small, something big, just telling someone about it, and especially my parents is usually who hears about it, it just helps me, share it with someone and share the load a little bit.
I think the advice would be, don't feel like it's just you, because the odds are everyone else has got something going on or will have in the time that you know them. So if you put it out there, you'll probably hear something back about your friends you've never realised, and then all of a sudden you've got this connection with each other that you can continue to support each other. And I think, that's the best way to do it. It might seem hard at first, but as soon as you do it, you'll just be so happy that you did.
It's like so apparent to us how important it is that you share what you're thinking all the time. Like, you don't need to hold on to these thoughts about maybe if you're feeling down or happy or anything. Like, the most healthy thing you can do is to share that with someone.
More often than not, people don't realise that there are people out there willing to listen to your problems, and they might not seem like that at face value, but with the, if you take into regard the people close to you within your own friendship, whether that be within your own friendship circle, your family, everyone has the same experience. Some people more than others, but you should always feel like there's someone there ready to talk to you about your problems.
I got stabbed with a whiskey bottle working over my head and stabbed with the neck of it. On tour, which is like a real weird incident. But post that, when it took 6 weeks to, I had like a bunch of stitches and 6 weeks to heal, and they recommended that I go see a counsellor, which I've never, like a mental health counsellor, because you get a thing called post-traumatic stress. And I went and saw this woman, and like was saying like weird things were happening in public, like I was getting sort of like weird triggers, like from the trauma of the event. And then I went and saw this like lovely woman, Margaret, and sat down, and she was just like, so what's been going on? And I just rattled off, like she was a pair of ears, big heart, and just like took in all this information. She's like, well no shit, you're like got a bit on your plate, like, you know, and just, it was so relieving. And like visited her like a few times, and it was just like a breath of fresh air, just someone I didn't know, like coming and just listening. Yeah, and it was wonderful. Like, and that sort of put me on the path of some really serious, cool healing. That's cool.
Yeah, like there's been times I've had a few like serious medical things that have happened in my life, like, you know, a long time ago now, but when I was a lot younger, and I'd speak to my family about that, and, you know, that really helped me get through it. I had problems like, you know, with substances when I was younger, and speaking to people helped me get through that. And like it doesn't, even young people, like I'm getting a little bit out of the young person bracket, I'm still hanging in there. But even now at my age, speaking to someone when I feel down, it helps. And yeah, I've had to go through that. Everyone has to. So yeah, I just think that you should definitely just be open about it. Yeah.
I feel very grateful that people around me support me, because I have a very mild autism and Asperger's, so it's hard for me to relate to a lot of people sometimes. But because of my friends, and because we talk about it all the time, right? All the time. It helps me realize what I'm capable and not capable of. And when I can't relate to somebody, I would ask Fletch, what does this guy mean when he said that? Did I say something wrong? And we have gone really open about it. And because of music, it gave me the confidence that it's okay to be, you know, who you're born.
Yeah, as someone who's had some shit house times with OCD in the last few years, one of the best things is chatting to other dudes in bands, and you'd really be surprised how many other people have gone through the same thing. And so in terms of support, best thing you can do is just put it out there, what's going on. And yeah, it was awesome. As soon as I started telling the other dudes about all kinds of stuff I was getting up to, everyone was a lot more, you know, open-minded about it. And I think the hardest thing was just putting it out there. But as soon as you do, yeah, you realise everyone else has had something similar or knows someone, and you get chatting, and it doesn't seem like such a big deal anymore. So I think that's definitely, in terms of support from others, you got to put it out there first, and you'd be surprised how receptive everyone can be if you do that.
Yeah, when I'm going through a bad day, whether it be at work or whatever, I always turn to music. That's my first thing. It's a good way to relieve stress, and like I was saying before, it's yeah, always turn to music or just hanging out with friends. So talking to someone, I think, definitely helps.
The other bit of advice I got when I was a kid was by my mate Adam Morgan's dad. He always, yeah, and he was like, give everything 24 hours. He said, no matter what's going on in your mind, no matter what happens, I don't know why he told me. I was in like primary school. I was just like eating sausage rolls and shit. And no, but he said, he always said, no matter what's going on in your life, he goes, just 24 hours, man, the world can turn on a 5-cent piece. Like, nothing is too big. Just like whatever it is, just give it time, right? And that was always cool. I always kept that in my back pocket, because like there have been times when it's like, oh man, it feels like you should have nailed the door shut today because the world is coming down on you. And then go to bed, wake up, and strange things happen in your life, and the world is a dynamic place, and things resolve themselves, or seemingly big problems are small problems the next day. So it's, yeah.
Just remember that everything feels better after you've slept on it. that's been the one thing that I've learned more recently in the last few years, that even if you're a hothead or if you're down, like whether you're angry or you're upset or however you feel about something, it feels better after you've had a sleep. So if you can just get through the day to the point where where you crash out, you will wake up feeling better. That would be the main yeah.